just remember that if it isn't exactly what you want to be doing, if somebody else is writing the pages in your book, you're not obliged to keep it that way. That becomes a choice. And every time that sun goes down, you get to wake up in the morning and start afresh. So make sure you're writing the pages in your own book and you're not being governed by what other people think, what other people do, whatever other people have, what other people want for you. There's only one person that matters, and that's you. Good morning world, morning walk episode 39, coming to you from Busselton, Western Australia today. Holy crap, this is freaking amazing! What? It's not real. Just here by chance, I'm actually heading south for a mountain biking race, 4 days, the Cape to Cape down in Margaret River, which should be absolutely epic. But this is like a classic example of following your nose when you're traveling and taking advice from different people. Look at this. I wasn't supposed to be here. It's amazing. Oh, wow. This is crazy. Anyway, the backstory. So I flew into Perth this morning. Actually caught up with a friend / colleague from Curtin University in Perth. That's you, Jane. Hello. Who gave me a recommendation that on my way down to Margaret River, which is about 3 hours south of Perth, I should actually stop in at a few places because I had time. And she recommended Busselton. What we're looking at here is one of the longest jetties in Australia, 1.7 kilometres long from end to end, and it's just simply spectacular. So she said, must stop in and see the jetty at Busselton. Can only imagine what this place must be like at sunset. You know, our stories, they started the day we were born, and for most of that time, those early years, you know, you don't have much choice about what's being written in your book. But that's always a question I like to ask myself. It's like, who's writing my story now? Is it me or is it other people? It's something that I think helps you calibrate quite nicely. You know, if you're making your decisions and choosing your path based on what other people want for you, or, you know, other people do, looking at what other people have instead of thinking about what's right for you. You come to a place like this and you really appreciate that you're writing your own story, right? Here we are, Busselton, Western Australia. I wasn't even supposed to be here, but travel presents us many opportunities always, and if you're open to it and you listen to people and you have the great fortune to be able to follow your nose on it, it can lead you to some pretty spectacular places. The thing is extraordinary, right, is to have this like pretty much to myself, 1.5 kilometres, just wandering out along the jetty, enjoying the sea air, chatting with you. Great to have you with me. Thanks for joining. Got to make the most of every moment. I've got these two-scale drawings of different types of whales, humpbacks, southern rights, blue whales out here at the end. Pretty freaking amazing to see this actually painted out on the ground. Far out. Can you imagine the size of one of these things? Oh, look at this guy who's standing in the middle of a blue whale. That is just out of this world. Out of this world. Jetty was first constructed in 1865, much shorter back then than it is now. It was only about 170, 180 metres long. And of course it's served the town quite well back there to provide supplies and for them to export different produce from the area, timber. Now you can see it's mostly for the tourists. We've got this funky little train that runs out here for those people who are too lazy to walk the 1.8 kilometres. Honestly, it's actually worth the walk. train doesn't seem to be going that fast anyway. You probably get there faster if you're walking. Now, originally, the whole jetty was actually made out of timber. These days, after a big fire back in the 70s, it's actually been converted over to concrete, which obviously cost a bomb. It cost them about $1 million to convert it over to being concrete, but the fire devastated about 70 metres of the actual jetty itself, so it's too much of a risk. They decided to convert it over to concrete, which obviously makes it a bit easier for walking along. It's still based on wooden pilings, making it the longest jetty with wooden pilings in the southern hemisphere, 1.8 kilometres. It's kind of epic. What's also kind of cool is out there at the end, where I'm just wandering back from, it's actually got a natural aquarium. So essentially you're looking at all fish in their native, or wildlife in its native environment, not caged in or the like. One of only 6 in the world, 6 natural aquariums, which I actually find quite surprising, but there you go. It's one of the wonderful things about when you travel is you learn new things. There you go. I got to see it. You know, it's a bit of a bummer not to be here at sunset, because every day when you're writing that story, you know, you get a fresh start every time the sun comes up, and you get to close a chapter every time the sun goes down. So, you know, it'd be spectacular to see the sunset over the ocean here, and to know that you're waking up tomorrow morning with a fresh opportunity to have a go at it all. So, whatever you're doing today, just remember that if it isn't exactly what you want to be doing, if somebody else is writing the pages in your book, you're not obliged to keep it that way. That becomes a choice. Every time that sun goes down, you get to wake up in the morning and start afresh. So make sure you're writing the pages in your own book, and you're not being governed by what other people think, what other people do, whatever other people have, what other people want for you. There's only one person that matters, and that's you. Anyway, whatever you're getting up to today, I hope it's a good one, and I'll see you next time.